I'm Stas Margaronis, and I'm talking to John van Zundert, who is the principal architect of Rotterdam Short Sea Terminals. From the time a truck arrives at RST to the time it leaves, how long does that take on average?
Well, it's not allowed to be longer than 10 minutes on the terminal, otherwise there's a penalty.
You're aware that we have up to 5-hour delays at our ports in California.
That must cost a fortune then.
But
I tell you why it can be that easy. All the truckers that come in Rotterdam have what they call a cargo card.
Okay.
And the cargo card is their employers, or if they're self-employed, they got to ask the port of Rotterdam for their card.
Okay.
And all the particulars of that trucker, his license number, its identification, everything is on that card.
Okay.
So when he gets to the gate, he puts that card in a machine.
Right.
And then he's allowed in. Then the time starts.
Okay.
And he just fills the whole thing in, put that on the card, and then there's a little sheet comes out of a printer.
Yes.
And tells him exactly to which crane he's got to go, or to
Okay.
which position he's got to go.
Okay.
So then he puts his card in there, so he leaves there.
Right.
Then he goes to the barrier. Each crane has a barrier, his own barrier.
Okay.
He goes to the barrier of the crane,
Right.
puts his card in there, barrier opens up because he's in the right spot,
Right.
gets under the crane driver looks down, see the number on the roof, and he types that in. That's all he's got to type in.
The crane operator.
The crane operator, and then the container number he's got with him is automatically displayed on his screen.
Okay.
And tells him, because that's been done in the control room, where that container's got to go. And that's automatically transmitted back into the office, where they have an overview on screens where the containers are.
On the ship.
Yeah, or in the park. The controllers look if it's dangerous cargo.
Right.
So there's a separation.
For dangerous cargo.
For dangerous cargo, or for chemicals, or
Right.
whatever, or reefers.
Refrigerated
anything.
containers.
Yep.
Okay.
All he's got to move is out of the compound to the ship. If it's an empty ship, of course.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in between, there are 17 rows
Yeah.
of containers, 45 foot,
Right.
and they're 5 high.
That's so special. Now, let me show you. Here we are, Rotterdam, and from here we have connections to all the different countries, to Euston, Russia, Norway, Iceland, UK, just name it. Tenerife, that's where it's now 25 degrees, I believe. So we better go over there. And what you see, that we are a hub for all the connections coming together here. So what we do very much is discharge a container from a vessel from the Canary Islands when with a destination of Ireland. Vessel is not going to Ireland, only to Rotterdam, and from here we put it on another vessel, which brings us over to Ireland.
Hi, I'm Stas Margaronis, and we are talking to Minko van Heesen, press officer with the Port of Rotterdam. The shippers and the trucking companies have seen the value of these inland facilities because they would rather drive there than have to go to the main port area and go and deal with the congestion, and they have found it to their advantage because the turn times are much faster and they make more money and they have to worry about the margins, as you said.
The remarkable thing is that a lot of those inland containers, and especially the first ones,
Yes.
were initiated by road hauliers,
By trucking
by
companies?
trucking companies. Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
what was their motive in doing that?
The motive in doing that was, those guys are smart.
Right.
That's one.
Right.
And two is that they feel the constant pressure of margin,
Right.
of margin diminishing. So they are constantly pressed to improve and to think about the future.
And if I could, okay, so what John was saying is that the waiting times are much less for them if they are not in the center of the port where there's a lot of congestion. Would that be correct?
Yeah, they're constantly calculating, and they're used to see time as money.
Okay.
An inland vessel changes as well, but was not seen, did not see an inland vessel operator time as money.
Yes.
You know, they were just tuk.
Right.
And now, like I said, it changes, but a lot of the measurements we try to stimulate, they are based on the fact that you can save time.
Okay.
And if you can save time, more faster turnaround by using this container transferium,
Yes.
especially when there's, for example, a traffic jam or congestion at the terminals, you can make a calculation
Right.
and say, okay, drop it here,
Right.
return to the base,
Yes.
and then you can use the truck again the same day, maybe
Sure.
even twice.
Hi, I'm Stas Margaronis, and we're talking to Kevin Byrne, who is a terminal operations consultant from Port Hueneme, California. We've been in Rotterdam for 2 days. We have seen terminal operations that are very different from what we have in California and the United States.
Yeah, you know, really the systems, they're not different. There's no new technology. There's no specialized equipment. These are things we already have at our terminals and our terminal facilities in the United States. It's a matter of how we apply and use those. So the idea here would be, instead of loading it onto a truck, that we would bring in a short sea vessel. What would happen, you discharge from the larger ship into the terminal, and then you would take that container from the terminal and then load it onto the short sea vessel. We have the systems in place to do that now.
The International Longshore and Warehouse Union. They are the union that represents longshore workers on the West Coast. How do we work with them to work on a coastal, smaller feeder ship, short sea ship, and make that better than the
Right.
Oakland Stockton example?
Since it would be a new service, you know, what would be important is to bring the union into the conversation and explain to them what the purpose is and what our goals are, and get their commitment, get their involvement early on, so make them part of the part of the plan. I might add too, I mean, there's not, in the system of loading the short sea vessels, you don't have a lot of hands-on. You know, there's not a need for a large labor group to do this job. So it's a matter of just talking through, what are the jobs, what do we need, and we can work through with that.
Are relationships between managers like yourself and the union important in terms of getting things done?
Absolutely important. A strong relationship and a trusting relationship is critical. Right, we have to be able to trust each other, be able to work with each other.